We're back in the war room. Myself alongside Pierce Allen, Ayush Kasaju, Mark Brandt, and back on the show is Jackson Durham. We had you on, I think, last for the pre-combine episode. So
Yes,
it was
yes.
a little over a month ago, but glad to have you back. And today we have a special episode. So really excited about this one, but we're going to do a collab mock, and it's going to be a pretty big collab mock. We got 5 people on. We were hoping to get a little bit of a bigger team as well, but had some scheduling issues. So, but we got the main four, and then we got Jackson Durham, who's one of our favorites to have on the show. So we're yeah, we think we got a good little crew here to be able to talk ball today. And what we're gonna do is we're basically just kind of like any collab mock. We're gonna take turns, uh, and we randomized the order for the mock. So I guess I'll preface that. I'll go over that really quick. Ayush is going to be one. I'll be two. Mark is going to be three. Pierce four. Jackson five. We're going to go down the list in that exact order all the way down to 32. We are going to do some trades. We're going to try and do that, you know, in live time here. And all of this is, we didn't pre-make the mock. We're doing this live for you guys. And yeah, so we're gonna get that going here in just a second, right after the introduction. All right. We're gonna get this set up really quick. We got to pull up the simulator here, so we're gonna use the PFF simulator for reference, so that you guys can see what is going on. I'll move it to this one so that it's a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. And then get all 32. Let's put it there. All right, we're getting started, and Ayush, we'll dive straight into it. Ayush is now on the clock. Actually, hang on. We got to do this. There we go. Can't start the draft without that.
So with the first pick of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans will select Cam Ward from Miami. I think this pick is pretty easy. They need a quarterback. He's the best quarterback on the board. Honestly, me personally, I would not be surprised if they would want to trade out of this pick and try to go for a blueprint like the Bears did with trading out of the Bryce Young pick and getting Caleb the next year. But in this reality, I think they're gonna take Cam Ward this year and be happy with it.
That was a good pick. I think it's pretty much set in stone based off the move the Titans have made this offseason that's where they're going.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that with Tim Boyle that there might be some question marks if they get Cam Ward, but I think it's some healthy competition there.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is where Cam Ward's going to go. I don't think the Titans are going to waver here. We talked about this before over the past couple of weeks, but I think that Will Levis will probably find his way out this offseason too. I just don't like. I'm not trying to attack Will Levis as a person, but his personality doesn't bode well as a backup to a young quarterback. It just doesn't bode well. So I think that they're going to take this, move on from Will, and just move forward with Boyle as their backup. So, all right, that puts me on the clock here, and I've had a lot of debate over this. Honestly, like a ton of debate as to is it quarterback at 2. Is it maybe Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter? I've kind of changed my mindset here. I think I'm going to do quarterback, and I wouldn't do it personally, but this is a team that's drowning, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, Deshaun Watson, for one, obviously that contract is just murdering their cap situation, on top of the fact that you just paid this is probably the biggest like thing that is forcing me to do this pick. But you just paid Myles Garrett a $40 million contract, and he wants to win now. I think that both in the sense of them not wanting to continue to frustrate him, and then secondary, second to that, the fact that they probably just, they have all the utmost respect for what Miles has done for them. I think that they're just going to kind of force this pick into existence. Again, while I don't agree with it, it is something that, with a young quarterback, if Shadir does hit and all of a sudden next year he's having some Jaden Daniels type of season, which I don't foresee happening, especially not with the surrounding cast there. But if he does hit, then all of a sudden you can kind of save yourself from obviously you're paying Deshaun Watson all that money, but you're able to have a cheap quarterback, which helps you financially all the way around. So obviously it's a big risk. You really need this pick to pan out, but Shadir is my pick, although again, I wouldn't do it, but yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I feel like that would definitely put, just the kind of the bind that Cleveland's put themselves into. They've handcuffed themselves. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got Watson's possibly sitting out the year again because of his Achilles, and then they just paid, north of 40 million for Myles Garrett, and you want to make him happy. You can't just, hey, we gave you 40 million, we're still gonna suck. So sorry, dude.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I feel like that would be a forced pick right there for Cleveland just because of where they are as a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it though. I mean, there's some stuff to like about Shadur. I mean, he doesn't really turn the ball over, which is definitely
That's
a
true.
positive for him. And obviously, like Pierce said, they kind of did handcuff themselves, but I don't hate it. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't hate the pick either. It's just it's forced. It's a forced pick
Yeah.
because they have no options at quarterback.
And that's why that's why this is the team doing it too.
Yeah.
They've done this type of stuff before. We've seen them
Oh,
force
yeah.
quarterbacks over and over again. And you got to know, I said it quote unquote, like quote, Andrew Berry, your job's online. I said I said
You've
he's
said it
probably gonna
multiple
get
times.
fired. And then a couple weeks later, I was at the Senior Bowl and I was literally like, dude, he was just a couple rows over from me. And they actually did a clip. Just side note, they did a clip on X, and it was like their scouting department, and they had like a shot of Andrew Berry, and I remember them like shoot. I remember the camera, and I was like right behind the guy who was shooting it. But so yeah. Anyways, though, this is a team that would make that mistake, and
Absolutely.
I think they will, honestly,
And
especially when you have a GM that's potentially on his way out. He wants to kind of last hurrah, go get a quarterback and pray and hope and pray that Shadir has a Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud rookie season.
I could definitely see like this as a possible Baker Mayfield storyline for Shador. Like he comes
Yeah,
in,
that's
exceeds
true.
expectations, but then because of how the roster is built, you know, injuries plague him. He's gonna he's gonna end up finding some prove it deal for another franchise and then make the best of it. But I mean, Shador, he's not terrible. Like he's been a winner, I think, since his high school days. I don't think he lost a. No, I think he lost a couple of games in high school. But I mean, he was a four-time state champion. I mean, he brought the. He has a winning attitude. And
Yeah,
he said it in his interviews. Like he's there to change the culture of the franchise. He's not there to try to help push a franchise. No, he's going to create a new franchise from the ground up.
yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's not a good, safe, long-term trajectory for him to be
Oh, no.
here. But
Absolutely.
honestly, if he does go here and he fails, it's really he'll get obviously just like any player, he'll get a lot of heat for it because especially
sure.
given his personality. But
Mhm.
I think if he does fail in Cleveland, it's more so because of Cleveland itself. So
Exactly.
which is typical of quarterbacks in Cleveland. So, all right, moving on to pick number 3. Who's got that? That's Mark with the New York Giants.
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of glad that you took Shedeur there because if he fell, it would have been a really hard decision, even with the Giants bringing in both Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, because those are clearly not long-term options, as we've seen in their past couple of stints. But for me, I think this one's pretty easy. I'm going to give him Travis Hunter, the best player in the class. Can play either wide receiver or cornerback for them because it's both of them are positions that they could use upgrades at. Obviously, Neighbors was stellar last season, but could still use someone opposite him. But obviously, being in Jersey, I have a lot of friends who are Giants fans, and I've asked them, if they do get Hunter, where would you like him? And I've heard corner a lot more than receiver, and I do think that he can be one of the best in the league after his rookie season. But this is definitely an influx of talent that is needed for a Giants team for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that pick. I mean, it's you need a boost of morale. I feel like for the Giants as a whole because they're sitting there going, okay, we've got Russell Wilson and James Winston, two sides, two completely different, uh, personalities in terms of what a quarterback is in the NFL. And picking up a guy like Travis Hunter would be, a lot of. I mean, there's some baggage there. I mean, he just spent the past 3 years getting coached by probably one of the most
Yeah.
confident players in our pastime as a NFL player, and now as a coach, he's one of the richest coaches in college football right now. But yeah, I think it's a safe pick for a Giants team. Like you don't want to miss, so go for the best player available. I would say
Yeah.
That's the best player available. I mean, it could have been. I feel like they could also take Abdul Carter if they wanted
Yeah,
to
I
make
was I was
another
thinking
splash
about
as
it.
well. But I think just with the foot irritation, that might raise some flags for some franchises. Who
Well,
knows?
you have a background there too with Abdul.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
You
And his
have
background.
a number of uh back like criminal background type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing
Yeah.
severe, but um I think character wise he's fine, but it just his background's not too great. But I mean, Travis is, in my opinion, a good. I don't think Travis is like a leader of any sort, but he
Oh,
seems like a good dude with a good personality,
Mhm.
and he can help boost the morale of that locker room.
very
And
true.
he'll sell jerseys, but yeah. So yeah, I agree with that pick. I think that's the right pick. Plus, you can. I've mentioned this before, but with Travis Hunter, you have two chances with him. So if he
Mm-hmm.
fails at corner, then you put him, then you can settle him in at wide receiver
Yeah.
and or the other way around. So it's you have two chances. In you said it before, safe is the right word. I think in terms of the traditional like word of safe, as it's been used in the context of the draft, I think Ashton Genty kind of fits that mold as the safest guy in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
whenever you add in the context that Travis, you literally have two chances with Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
That makes him, in my opinion, I think that's actually the true, just not traditional, but the true most safest player in this draft. And you get the most, you get a combination of polarizing, and you get a combination of safeness with this pick, and you fill two needs. It's a home run pick for the Giants. It is.
And
Oh
he
yeah,
and
for
he
sure.
and he works for the New York media.
That's true.
What do you mean?
And
Just
how
that,
do you
just his personality, so polar. Like you
Oh,
said,
oh! I thought
Yeah.
you were saying like he
Yeah.
works like he's like on their staff. I'm like,
He's got
no
a
way.
job.
Actually employed by the New York Times, so he just got a job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
One of the things I like about this pick is I think it fits into the plan for GM Joe Shane and Brian Dable. I think
Yeah.
they have pinned everything on Russell Wilson. Like if this doesn't work with Russell Wilson this year, they're both gone in New York. So for them, I think this draft pick does not become about the future. It becomes about how good can we get right now. And Travis Hunter helps you do that.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
Dylan, you were talking about two chances. This is just me personally. I feel like he would thrive as a receiver in this league. I mean, he's got fantastic ball skills. I mean, I didn't watch much, of him playing this past year or the year prior, but all I can remember is week one, he makes this ridiculous catch on the right side. It's just a simple fade route, back shoulder, guys draped on him. Like
Yeah.
I kid you not. And he has the ball skills, the concentration, and the body control to make a catch like that. I mean,
I don't think people understand how good his hands are too. He
Oh,
he
100%.
doesn't drop. He had, I
Mm-mm.
think, I don't remember about this year, but for some reason I remember more so his 23 numbers, but he had like a 3% drop rate. But and then you factor in the fact that he has some of the best body control I've ever seen in my life, point blank period. And then the fact that since because of his cornerback is I don't think background's the right word because it's present, but because of how much experience he has as a cornerback, he knows how to leverage and stack early on in the route. So,
Mhm.
and
Absolutely.
I love how he's able to stack, exploit openings in the zone, and then catch it and just run and utilize uh, his overall athletic ability to its peak level. So, yeah, this is a home run pick. So,
Yeah, for sure.
okay. So number 4 is the Patriots, and who's picking here?
I believe that is me.
Oh yeah, that is you. Just want to throw this out there really quick because we are doing trades. I don't know if I said that on the stream yet, but we are doing trades on this. Do y'all think perhaps a team would be interested in moving up? Abdul slid to 4. Do we think someone may want to move up for Abdul here? Especially given the Patriots have a lot of holes to cover here. So
I think a
they
couple
might.
people would be making calls.
Yeah.
Well, certainly. But who is willing to mortgage the house is the
Yeah.
question.
Mhm.
And the team that makes the most sense to employ Abdul is sitting right here at 8 with the Panthers, but they don't have they have they have like 3 NFL worthy guys on their team. They can't be
Yeah.
moving pieces to be able to move up. So maybe
The highest paid
actually
corner in
maybe the
league,
Saints.
the Horns.
Do y'all think the Saints would be interested? Because
Yes, I do. I do
Yeah,
think the
'cause-
Saints would be interested, but do the Saints have the firepower to get there draft wise? Like, are the Saints willing to mortgage this year's first?
Yeah,
And
let's
I mean,
see.
like, what do you think that trade looks like?
Okay, let's see here.
New England could drive
They
a
don't
hard
have
bargain.
a lot.
Okay, I'm pulling up a draft chart too to be able to do the math here because we obviously want to make this reasonable. So, and worth noting here, and let's do the math here, but then let's add the context that I I brought this up on the team needs. Kellen Moore is the new head coach there. He does not have enough toys to play with on that offense, in my opinion, because I think Alvin Kamara is out the door within a year. Maybe not contractually, but I think he's got maybe one more year of good or decent level play left in his gas tank. But then you have Chris Olave, who I think is a good wide receiver 2, not a wide receiver 1, and I think you have a good receiver 3, or at least he should be in Rashid Shaheed. So they may be just wanting to stick and see if Tet falls to them. But let's do the math here just really quick. So you need 1,800 points here to be able to move up. You have 1,350 if you're the Saints. So you need to basically close the gap on about what is that, 450?
Yeah.
So you're sitting 40 is worth 500. So you can, in theory, move up with your 2 and just good, or you could say, okay, what's our 3? 235. You could probably move like your 1, 2 threes, and maybe you're like 5 this year. It's like a 3 next year. Actually, no, you have 2 threes this year. Hang on.
Yeah. If they
You
went
do.
971 and a 3 next year, would that get it done?
I'd say we would probably have to throw another 5 in.
Okay.
Like a 5 or 6, because that matches up using this year's points and not accounting for the fact that you would have to wait another year for that other 3 to be able to make that pick for that other 3. I think there's a little bit of a discrepancy there. So I think that 5
something
probably
else to
closes.
consider is that this is probably the cheapest draft to trade up we've seen in a long time.
Oh, actually, that's valid. No, that's valid,
Right.
but It just depends on what the Patriots think of Abdul. So I think that kind of adds into this. What do we think they think of Abdul?
I think they like him. I mean, who doesn't like Abdul Carter? Who wouldn't want to have him coming off the edge? But I think the Patriots would rather load up on draft capital. I think the Patriots don't feel like that's their biggest weak point right now. They feel like they've got a lot of other areas of need.
Yeah, I agree.
And don't love the idea of drafting Teteroa McMillan at 4 or at reaching on one of the other receivers or the offensive lineman, which is just kind of a grab bag this year. So I think they'd love to move down if the offer was right. And I honestly feel like 971 and a 3 next year in this kind of a draft class might get that done for them.
Yeah. Okay. So then so I think the Patriots would be on board with this. 971 and 3 next year.
Who's actually holding 4 and 9 in this draft? Because I'm like totally running this and I don't have those picks. So
4 is Pierce is sitting here like, what is it? Oh, he has both.
Yeah, he
Pierce
does
is like
Pierce, you're trading with yourself.
Yeah,
I guess so. I mean,
yeah. So okay, so let's add the. Do you think? I think we all agree the Patriots would do this. Do you think the Saints would bite on this? Even still with the fact that Kellen is the new head coach, he needs weapons. Hey, take that as you will.
I mean, this would be a stretch for the New Orleans Saints to trade up to 4, and when they could just, if they wanted to, if Kellen Moore is telling them I need an offensive weapon, why trade up to 4? I mean, you run the risk of possibly Vegas drafting a Genty, knowing that Kamara's probably got one good year left.
Yeah.
And then if he does pass, Vegas, you got a good shot. But that's just a big if for Vegas because they're one of favorites to draft Genty too. So, I mean, in a world, I feel like they would, bet the house for a running back, and I think this would be the year that they would do it. So I think they would trade up to 4 and draft Ashton Genty.
Oh,
Whoa.
really? You think Genty?
I think so.
We're going Genty at 4.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Wow.
I think it's a gamble, but.
And well, here's the thing too with Genty might be the number 1 player on their board. Abdul right now, the consensus like top 4 are Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Genty, and I don't even know. I think pick your poison between Cam Ward, Tet, and Mason Graham.
Actually, now that I think about it, I feel like this would be just because, you don't have Bill Belichick being the GM and the head coach, where he likes his, I'll draft a Division II, Division III player and make him a star. This is Brett Venables, right? No, that's not Venables. I'm thinking of something. Vrabel. Mike Vrabel. I could definitely see Vrabel staying put, like wanting to stay put, because his time in Tennessee, he didn't trade back much, I don't think. So, but that is if Robert Kraft doesn't pull I'm honestly I'm not that good of a trader right here, but I mean, what do we have as needs for New England? Because I tried to write them all down.
Edge was one of them. Worth noting.
I feel like
Abdul here.
I feel like they could. They could take phone calls, but if the price isn't right for them, I could definitely see them staying put and drafting Abdul Carter.
Okay, so what if
even with
what if they get 9? So let's say the Patriots are sitting at 9. So 4 for your okay, what am I trying to say? So you trade 4, you get 9, you get 2 3s out of it. So you have another 3 this year and you have a 3 next year.
Sure.
What you can potentially get from that. And I guess it depends if we think Tet is still going to be there, but I would say there's a chance that either Tet or Ashton Genty are still there at 9. A chance.
That's true.
And you could get one of Tet and Ashton Genty, and then in the
And have draft
third
picks.
round, you can use that third round to go get
A running back.
you
or
can
something
go
like
get
that.
maybe you
Or an
get your
edge.
running back, maybe you go get like a RJ Harvey, maybe you go get an edge rusher. I mean, yeah, I guess it's up to you if you think a kind of maybe a Tet and what would I say, like it would be a mid early third, so maybe like a Josiah Stewart or a Kyle Kennard or Jared Ivey. Do you think a Tet and a Jared Ivey is worth more than a Abdul Carter, or and another 3 next year is worth more than an Abdul Carter for
That's true.
this team?
Yeah, I think they pulled trade. I'm going to go ahead and accept that
Okay.
trade. I mean, I'm trading the same picks that I have, but yeah, I see New Orleans trading up from 9 to 4 on draft night.
Gotcha. All right, we're making it official right now.
But who does New Orleans take it for? That is the biggest question for me.
Okay, well let's
Yeah,
make
I'll
that.
take it.
I don't want to click the trigger first. So, who are they trading up for? Who are they pulling the trigger to be able?
Because I'm looking at their biggest. I'm going off the internet right now, just looking at what their biggest draft needs are. This was 5 days ago. They said their biggest need is cornerback. I mean, they could go receiver here at 4. Again, because they have Shaheed and a injury-prone Chris Olave.
I think here at 4 you're kind of locked into. I don't think you're trading up for someone that has a chance to fall to you right now, because if you're going to pull the trigger on Tet, I think you're waiting till like 7 and you trade up with the Jets.
That's true. Yeah.
So if you're doing this, then you're trading up for, you're trying to leapfrog the rate. I personally don't think it would happen, but you could leapfrog the Raiders for Genty, or you're jumping up to snag Abdul before so that the Patriots don't decide to pick him.
The way Pierce is right now is how I've been all draft season, trying to figure out just who is drafting who in general, because it's ridiculous.
Like, I don't know what. Yeah, in general, you think you have like the 1 through 5.
Yeah, this is not. This is a very
I think
complex draft.
At 4 here, if I'm New England Patriots and that's the offer I get from the Saints, but here, let me rewind. If I'm the Saints, I probably don't trade up here, because if I'm New Orleans and I'm Kellen Moore, what I really want to do is add an offensive weapon here. And who are you trading up to go get? Tyler Warren, he's probably falling to 9. Ashton Genty's probably falling to 9. So it doesn't really make sense from their perspective. New England's probably going to try to get calls, but I don't know that many are going to come if this is the way the board looks at 4. I think ultimately the kind of dark horse here is Armin Membu. I think the Patriots just stay put and draft an offensive lineman.
Yeah, that's that's valid. Yeah,
that might be the instead of trading. I think that might actually, if they're, if a Vrabel offense is more run and gun or more run based as well. Now that I heard that from you, Jack, like I'm jumping back and forth.
I hear you. I thought that might, kind of help. I don't want to.
It helps a little bit because it makes sense. Like this isn't the same, Bill Belichick offense team. Like I've already reiterated, it's just Callie. Like you're in the seat of the GM right here. Like you literally, you're taking phone calls. I mean, we could possibly see maybe a Luke or a Will Campbell could go here at 4. I mean, it'd be high, but if Vrabel's trying to build an offensive line, that could be the.
This is about where he is on my board.
Mm-hmm.
Campbell.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I think Vrabel's gonna start building the pieces around his offensive line. He's still got Tony Pollard for the next 3 years? 2 years now, I think.
Oh no, you're
And-
thinking of Titans right now.
I am
You got
Stevenson.
Stevenson.
I'm sorry. I
Andre.
got my teams.
Boomer.
He's got Stevenson. I mean, I think he's on shaky legs, but he's got he's trying to rebuild that offensive line. I think New England stays put and drafts Will Campbell at 4.
All right.
All right.
Okay,
Pick is
number
in. All right.
5.
Pick number 5.
Mason Graham. This is a pick that
Yeah,
every
almost.
time I have mock drafted, and this is the way the board falls pretty regularly, Mason Graham just makes so much sense. James Gladstone is a Rams guy, and he was our director of scouting for a very long time, built that team on the defensive line, and he will do the same in Jacksonville. And Mason
I got a
Graham
question real quick.
will be more perfect piece. I got.
I think I have the Niners pick at 11.
Mm-hmm.
Do the Niners try to trade up and go for Abdul Carter here?
Yeah,
If they do,
that's what I was gonna say. Someone's trading up at 6 now. It's
if they do,
especially
if
the Raiders would want to trade back.
Wait
They
a
want-
minute.
think
I
they
made
want
that pick.
Genty.
I totally blanked on Abdul Carter being on the board. I should have picked Abdul Carter. What am I doing here?
We can fix that if you want. You want?
Yeah,
to do that?
I like
I think. Yeah, we can-
mentally he's off the board every time at the Jags pick. So yeah, that's super
Take that
embarrassing.
back.
Yeah, no,
Take
he
that
would
back
definitely
and-
Bro sent the card in too early. Bro
because
sent the card in too
Well,
early.
the whole statement I made was about building on the defensive line, and I was like, pick the best player available there, and it's never Abdul Carter. But if it was, obviously that's what they're gonna do. But like, I just think Jags and mock drafts we're going Mason Graham. I had that one locked and loaded.
Yeah, I think
Dang, I was ready to
Mason's
jump in as the
just
Niners. I was gonna be like,
written in ink.
That would have been a
Actually,
horrible pick if they picked
Yeah.
Mason Graham with Abdul Carter on the board. No disrespect to Mason Graham. He's a great
Yeah,
player, as I
he's a
just
great
said.
player.
But Abdul Carter
Yeah.
is just levels above. All right. Corrected that mistake. Sorry, gang.
Okay. All right. Raiders are on the clock. Ayush, what do you got, bro?
yeah, I was thinking about this. I think there's a couple ways they could go. Obviously, we've been talking about Genty for a little bit, and Genty I think is the best player on the board right now. It's just that I don't know if that's the guy that's really going to make an impact towards winning for the Raiders specifically. I think they need a guy that's gonna help Geno a little bit more. I feel like the Raiders could go with running back a little later in the draft and be completely happy with who they get in the second or third round. But right now, I don't think Geno is going to be happy throwing to Trey Tucker and Jacoby Myers. So I think at 6, if Ted's available, I think they go Ted. A big body receiver. He had DK in Seattle. I know they're not completely exactly the same, but I think that's a good pick for Geno. I think it adds to their offense in a good way, and I think the Raiders are going to be happy with their second or third round running back that they get instead of Genty.
Preach.
Here's a
Yep.
here's a quick question I would have about this. Would Vegas possibly, field some calls from possibly San Francisco, who we talked about it, they have holes everywhere, and both starting defensive tackles are, up and out of there. Maybe with Mason Graham on the board there at 6. I mean, and San Francisco's been known for making some deals here. Could we see them possibly trying to trade up to
I
6?
struggle with thinking the 49ers will trade up at all in this draft. I think they'll be trading back a ton, all over the place because
They do.
dude, they have so many holes that you just don't have the resources.
You got a good
to
amount of
be
picks
moving
already. I feel
picks.
like
They have about 10 guys, and is not going
I
to
guess it's-
help his team either. I don't think you have the ability to start moving 3s and 4s right now. You have so many holes on this team right now. You lost like 11 starters.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think they got to stay put.
Yeah, they'll probably stay put and just take McMillan, Wonders.
Stay put or the Raiders. Yeah, they'll probably
For the
stay put.
Raiders. Yeah. The
But
Raiders
thinking about the
stay put.
Niners' perspective, yeah,
They need.
I can't imagine them trading up, but like Dillon said, definitely trading back, just to fill those holes for sure. I mean, they're really solid drafters, so I could see them definitely fishing for some more capital.
Mhm.
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, so now I am on the clock, if I'm not mistaken. Let's confirm that. Yep. All right. For the New York Jets. Still haven't had a trade yet. So give me a second. I'm gonna ponder this for a second because my pick here is either Mason Graham or move because you could use another running mate alongside Quinnen Williams. I think this team is missing some depth on the defensive line. You do have a good group. Will McDonald, Quinnen Williams. You brought in Derek Nottie, Jermaine Johnson. I think you could use a couple guys to work behind them because it's pretty thin afterwards. So that's why I'm kind of, I'm kind of questioning if you could, if you want to bring in another War Daddy type guy and Mason Graham, or do you want to move back and try and back pocket a couple picks here? So, let's see, who would be interested in moving up here?
That's what I'm wondering.
Who wants
I'm
Mason
sitting on the
Graham kind of,
Bears
or
pick.
Genty?
It's either
And-
Graham or Genty.
Genty, hey, that's actually Bears might actually be interested in moving up for Genty and leapfrogging.
Mhm.
Like
I don't think the Bears want to
Yeah.
move up here because if I'm Ryan Poles, I am not really worried that the Jets or the Panthers are going to draft him. There's a chance that the Saints do, but I think the Saints would rather go Tyler Warren. So I feel like Genty's going to fall right into my lap anyway at 10. So I don't need to move up for him. The other team I'm thinking about moving up for in my group is Atlanta, as the edge defenders continue to move around here. Atlanta, I could see leapfrogging people and just getting a little shaky about someone else taking an edge that they like.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Atlanta. Me personally, I think Atlanta would stay because this is a good group. One of these guys are going to fall to you, and you're going to be really happy about it. But
I feel like they might get shaky about Dallas stealing one of their favorite guys. If they love Mike Green and Dallas is warm on him as well, they might jump with the Niners to make that deal.
Yeah,
I could do that.
Oh, I have Dallas. I didn't notice that. Man, I really feel like someone's got to be interested in trading here. I guess it's more of a.
I feel like the Bengals could be interested at some point, but I think this is too high for the Bengals.
Yeah.
Do the
What
Bengals
about
have a lot of
Denver?
resources right now, though?
What about- Would Denver come up for Tyler Warren?
I think they'd come up for Genty.
That is a proposition right there.
That's interesting. Genty
Dude,
or
it's Sean
Warren.
Payton.
I'm
It's
sitting
Sean
on
Payton,
Denver
man.
right now. Yeah, let's have Denver come up for Genty. Let's do that.
I want to let's look at this. And Mark,
20 to 7?
provide your insight here because my framework here is Sean Payton. He's done in the past. Reggie Bush. He was a main catalyst of that, and he pounded the table for them to move up and make that move. This is another variation of that type of situation. So what you thinking?
I mean, that's the reason why I proposed it, just because being a fan and seeing how bad the run game was last year with Javonte Williams essentially as I can't even say the lead back because they rotated McLaughlin, Estime got in there a couple times. But he just provides that spark that I think that Peyton would look for in his run game, especially behind this offensive line that was I believe, top 3 in run block win rate. I really think that this is a big possibility here for Denver to trade up.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's talk money here though, or picks.
Exactly. So
You're probably moving your 1, your 2, and a future 3. And numbers wise, that still doesn't add up. But I think you might get a little bit of a.
I think
crazy.
with we'll call it draft discount this year, I think that probably gets it done. And as Denver, I don't feel like we have. I mean, there's still a few things you'd like to upgrade on the roster, but there's not myriad holes where you really feel like you're attached to your draft capital. Let's get that deal done. Let's go get Ashton.
Yeah. All right.
Couldn't Denver stay put though and draft Hampton? Amari Hampton.
I think there's enough of a gap between Ashton Genty and Amari Hampton that you make that move to go get him.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think Sean Payton gives a rat's ass.
No, he does not.
I don't.
especially
He
with
wants
Vegas.
Ashton Genty.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
especially with
if
Vegas
he's there-
passing on him here.
He's an old school. I love my guy. We go get my guy.
He literally, 100%. All
Go
right, so this
Oh,
is
Knicks
what we're
at
looking
12.
like compensation wise. All right, pulling the trigger here, and that means, I guess. So how do we want to do this? So now you make your pick, Jackson, I guess, and then I'm picking at 20. Okay,
Here, so wait, hang on. How do
and
I?
we're doing Genty, right?
Yeah, we're doing Jesse.
Okay. All right, now number 8 is Mark.
Yes, so I have the Panthers at 8. I'm
We're doing another
rolling-
running back, right? Panthers need another running back?
Yeah, totally. You know, they love drafting.
Or are
them.
we waiting? We're waiting till like the second round this time, right? Just like last year.
Who knows with the Panthers?
Need a
But
four-string running back.
defense is very much a pressing need. I'm not a big fan of drafting for need, but when you've got that many holes to fill on one side of the ball, especially with Graham and even a guy I like and that I think could go pretty high in Jalen Walker still on the board, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of open to trading down here and just seeing who falls back.
Valid.
So I mean, I'm not against it if Warren's on the board.
Who do we got here? No, I like your framework here. I think that's
Could
valid.
Atlanta move up for Mason Graham? Get your long-term Grady Jarrett replacement?
I don't know about what do they have. I don't think they have a lot of capital. I like that, but I don't think they don't have capital.
Yeah, that's another
they're
thing
missing
is-
a 3.
I just feel like if Carolina's taking calls with Mason Graham on the board, there's going to be a lot of teams that are chomping.
Oh, 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think there would definitely be a pretty good haul that you could get here. Probably moving around like the mid-teens.
I mean, I've got
So
Miami
you brought
at-
it up. Go for it. Fire away. It's your pick.
I've got Miami at 13 as well, and they definitely could use an upgrade there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate working out.
I've seen it before. I don't like these comps, but I've seen the Christian Wilkins comp on Graham. I think it's a little off because Mason's a little bit bigger, and he's a little bit less of an athlete. Not a knock on. I guess that's a knock on him, but he's more mental than he is athlete. But I could see that from them. Hey, let's pull up the capital again.
Yeah, I mean,
They have the capital for it.
they definitely
They have a
do.
lot
and
of-
plus, Carolina's given up some picks, especially dating back to the trade up to first overall with the Bears a couple years ago.
You're not
They're
asking
definitely-
for a lot here
Nah,
because it's 1,400. Actually, I will say you probably have to beat out some teams here, so maybe you have to give up like an extra 6 or something. But you have your pick is worth the Dolphins pick is worth 1,150. The Panthers pick is worth 1,400. All you need to do is basically, was that 3? 1,150. What's their 3? They have 98, so not quite. 108 plus, so that gives them 2258. So that means they're still 100, about 100 points off, but they could use a future 4. Maybe.
yeah, so throw that in, and I think that'll get it done, especially with the way, like Jackson said, the draft discount for this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All right.
1398 and a future 4 for 8.
Not bad.
I don't hate that. And then
It's kind of like the Micah trade a couple years back. A couple spots off, but pretty much it was a 3. You move up.
yeah,
Get your pick. So,
but
and
yeah.
you get a high caliber defender.
yeah, and
All right.
Mason Graham's the pick here, easy.
All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. And you had both picks.
Mhm.
So you got
The slide
right there.
in for the Michigan.
And now we're picking at number 9 with the New Orleans Saints. Our
This
needs
is you,
for
Pierce.
them were running back, defensive line, and safety for the primary needs. And we did it last week or the other day.
So Ted is already off the board for the Saints, and they missed out on the Genty sweepstakes as well. I feel like this is where they were banking on Genty possibly falling. He didn't fall all the way. Neither did Tet. I think this is where they would take their tight end. I think they would finally get. I think they would take Tyler Warren here.
That's right.
Love that
At
pick.
pick 9.
I like that.
Love that pick.
Yeah.
They'd
The
run.
only thing. Go ahead. The only thing I would say maybe hinders them from that is maybe they like one of the receivers a lot, and maybe they try and move back a little bit. But I think
Sure.
I personally think that they would just stick and pick and do this if Genty's going.
I think they would run that pick in. I
Yeah.
think they would love to have Tyler
Yeah.
Warren. And I am going to run in the pick of Armin Membu for the Chicago
There you go.
Bears.
Yeah, good pick.
Love it. I love the fact that he slid to us right there. Yeah, they're a little bummed to miss out on Ashton Genty, but they are more than happy to add a new great tackle.
Dude, what is that? Let's see that. Okay, so how does this offensive line work now? Let's see. Because where do you slot him in? Are you putting him in over Jonah Jackson?
That is the question.
This I don't think we talked
Here's the
about
thing
this
with
on a
Membu.
couple
I feel like
episodes
he could
ago. I don't
play
think Ben cares. Ben is just like, give me an offensive lineman.
Yes, and I feel like he's so flexible. Membu's versatile to play guard as well. He's got that skill set, so you could just kick him inside if you wanted to, and then eventually he can move outside.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Darnell Wright, was he a right tackle at Tennessee, or was he left tackle?
Yeah.
Right
He was
tackle.
right tackle. Okay.
They're kind of very similar players if you think about it. Armand's a little bit more of an athlete, but same kind of body type, same tenacity.
Armand's a freaky athlete, man. That dude's crazy.
He like generational is kind of a forbidden word to say, but he is a generational athlete at the offensive line position. So
Elite.
in terms of athleticism, so he's a great player as well. But I like that pick. So Ayush is sitting at 11 with the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, a couple places I was thinking about. Honestly, I don't think they'd be. I mean, the two guys I was thinking of was Mason Graham and Armand Membu before they were taken right before me. So, I wouldn't be against a trade down for the Niners here. There are a couple players I wouldn't be mad at getting either. Trying to think who's the better pick though.
I could
think-
totally see them
let's
trading
see.
down and getting some more picks to help fill the holes that they have on this team. Because they could trade
Yeah,
down
'cause-
and then use like couple up like a 2-3s and move back up into the second and get like another starter type guy.
Because I think you could trade down a couple spots, maybe get someone like Kelvin Banks around the 20s or something like that.
Hey, maybe this
Um,
is where the Falcons try and trade up, like what Jackson was talking about. You still
That's
have
kind
a
of what I'm
couple
thinking
guys on
about.
the board.
If I'm
jump
Atlanta,
Cowboys.
how scared am I of the Cowboys taking Mike Green? Pretty scared. So I think I might want to move up. But let me get a look at Atlanta's draft capital. That's the one
It's
thing.
not. It's bad, dude. It's
Yeah.
bad. That's their challenge. I mean, here maybe you could say, okay, we'll give you 118 and a 3 and 15, because I think you'd have to overpay if you're not giving them another day 2.
Yeah.
Or you give them these two and you ask for 75 as well, but I don't know if you want to give up 46, even if you still get another day 2 pick in return.
I feel like the best
I
deal
could-
for them is probably to go 11, 15, 46.
And 75.
Yeah, and 75. That's a steep drop from 46 to 75,
Yeah.
but that's kind of
I think that's fair though, honestly, numbers wise. But who has 15? Oh, Jackson, you have 15. So
yes.
12,
Ayush, what do you think about that?
200.
You said 15, 46, and what?
So it would be 15 for 40, 15 and 46 for 11 and 45.
45.
Or wait, no, 11 and 75.
75?
Excuse me, 11 and 75.
75, yeah. Okay. I was also thinking about maybe asking the Chargers too, because they might want to get a receiver before maybe the Cowboys or the Panthers do, or they could want to get their tight end before the Colts do.
I don't think they need to jump that high to do it.
I don't think the Harbaugh wants to either.
That's true. 15, 46, 11, 75.
I hate to play the
That's
salesman, but I think this is the best offer you're giving.
I think so
that's
too.
pretty much, yeah, it adds up on the chart too. So
Yeah, we'll do that then. We'll move down to 15.
and that gives the 49ers a chance to maybe get an extra starter out of this, as opposed to a good depth piece. So
I think that's mutually beneficial. Atlanta comes up and gets what they feel like is the safest thing at edge defender in Mike Green, although he's got some off-field concerns for sure.
yeah. All right. I'm sitting here at 12 with the Cowboys. So
Gotta be a little miffed. No Genty, no Mike Green.
that's why. Well, here's the thing. There's a player on my board right now that I would run up and make this pick easily, unless I don't think he's going here. Unless I think I could get some resources here and find him here in a little bit. So
Is it just Jade Barron? That's the best player available for me.
Luther is slightly above him on my board.
Whoa. Okay.
I
Fair
love
enough.
Luther.
I
I think. Well, I think you're getting I think there's been a little bit of an overreaction towards him as a player lately. And maybe schematically, I don't know. I don't fully understand it. Me personally, I think he's a stellar athlete. He's not going to go out there and run, a 4.2, but he's a good 4.4 type of athlete. But he's elite body control, elite agility. He's quick. He can decelerate at the top of his routes. He creates separation, maybe not in the most nuanced way, but he's going to create it by default because of what his strengths are as an athlete. Not a technician, but as an athlete, he is stellar. And I think Dallas would try and make a move to be able to move back for him. So we've done a lot of trades lately, but I feel like we're about to get to a spot where the picks just start happening. But let's ponder here for at least a second the concept of a potential trade.
I mean, would you look at Cincinnati? It might take a little bit, but from 17 to 12, they're looking for defense.
Yeah, they might be looking at a Jedi or.
Yeah, you got Barron. You got Will Johnson still on the board from Michigan.
I would go. I feel like Barron in a heartbeat here, and you just add that corner room.
Barron's
even better there.
Yeah, Barron would be a good nickel replacement for Jordan Lewis.
That is very true.
Right in there.
I love Barron. He's a top 10 guy for me, but I just can't get over the fact that this offense it needs another weapon. It does. Looking at this kind of grand scheme wise, I feel confident in what you have at the boundary at corner. I feel confident in the concept of looking and finding a good corner, even as late as maybe you move some of the comp picks and get someone in the fourth. I think you could get a decent corner there. I just don't think. I think that this is a spot where we need to add weaponry for Dak.
What do you think about
Okay, let me make you an offer then. If I'm the Buffalo Bills, yeah, we just paid Christian Benford, but if Jade Barron's on the board and you guys want to trade down, I don't really care about my draft capital. So I might offer you my first in this year's draft and maybe I don't know what it takes to get that deal done from them.
You got a.
But I think Buffalo would love to go grab Jade Barron. Looking at my teams on the list, someone's coming up to get Jade Barron, and what do we think, guys? What gets this deal
Dude,
done?
I don't know, bro. That's okay. So the money. Let's look at the numbers here.
It's a big jump going from 30
You're
to 12.
basically, dude. Okay, numbers wise, you need to give up 2 firsts.
I know. I think they might just do that though. I mean, like, what is next year's first worth to Buffalo in the grand scheme of things? It's a 30th overall pick. They'll live.
Because numbers wise, the Cowboys pick right now 1,200. Bills at 30 is 620. So it's a pretty even 2 first for 1.
You're coming up for a lockdown corner on my board. And to pair that with Christian Benford, who is already a lockdown corner, I think that's
Yeah, I kind of like that because you can be at a more favorable spot to, I mean, you pass up on Luther, but you can be in a more favorable spot where you can have the prospect of Egbuka or, potentially being there, or you can have potentially Omarion Hampton. Hang on, actually. Now I'm talking myself out of it because you might actually have to trade back up for those guys.
I think Omarion Hampton's there for you at 30.
I don't know.
The only other landing spot
I guess the Broncos are gone, but
you should talk to the Packers.
You're still ahead of Kansas City.
Would Pittsburgh be looking for a running back?
Yeah, it's Steelers. Maybe
they're going to draft Jackson Dart.
Yeah,
I could.
That's what I'm going to do on my next mock. Yeah,
that's what I did in my last
one.
one.
Draft Jackson Dart in the first round.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going rogue here.
Kenny Pickett.
I think I'm just going to hang up the phones. I'm going to take Luther.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The Bills are very disappointed.
Yeah. I just can't. I don't know about trading all the way back. That's too much. As great as 2 firsts next year would be, I don't like that.
Oh man, Carolina's got to be giddy. They still get Jahdae Barron after trading back. Wow.
I don't know if I go with Barron. I love Barron. I really do.
Really? Wow.
Really
Okay, Will
do.
Johnson.
I'm not even thinking corner. I'm not even thinking corner for Carolina. I'm thinking of going edge, and honestly, I'm thinking of drafting the RAS guy and just going Shamar Stewart. Like I'm heavily thinking it.
Wow.
Dude,
If he's a good pass rusher, why doesn't he rush it?
good.
Don't do the Brett Coleman thing. Don't do the Brett Coleman thing. You know that Texas A&M defense it wasn't designed for him to really get after the quarterback.
That's true. They want to more as a run.
With Shamar, you're going to pinch edges. You're going to get you're going to plug up the B gap with him.
Yeah.
You're going to plug up the B gap.
He's got such a high floor already as a run defender with the athleticism to develop into a really, really good pass rusher. And Carolina needs that. I think they're not really ready to compete now. I think that's pretty known. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull the trigger on Shamar Stewart. I like it.
He just needs to be a better closer. But also, I know the production question has been, the main thing for him. If you look at the actual advanced numbers, his pass rush rate, I don't have it in front of me. I could, but it's actually decent. He's actually a good advanced numbers type of guy. So I personally am chill with that. I was circling it there, but I have a guy that's higher on my board, Donovan, but
he's really good.
I don't think this is early. Guy. I feel like he's going to be right around this range.
Also,
James,
I just can't see these
is much higher on my board. I feel like if you wanted an edge defender, that's where I would have gone with it. But I do understand the value in Shamar Stewart. He is the freaky athlete. But I don't like.
Who did you say was higher on your board, Jackson?
James Pierce.
James Pierce. Okay.
Yeah, I think the character concern.
I like Donovan.
I honestly would probably prefer Donovan as Raku to him as well.
I prefer that, but I would say I think what we're doing here is we're doing what teams would do. So
okay.
So I think Shamar would be like all over this type of range, and it wouldn't stun me if he goes as early as like Panthers at 8 maybe. That wouldn't stun me.
Okay. I feel like I could also see Carolina just going best player available with
for sure
in there. But, I mean, if they did go edge defender, Shamar Stewart would definitely be maybe the highest ceiling prospect available.
Yeah. Well, can I also throw this in with Jedi Barron? So I like Jedi. I said it before. I like Jedi a lot. I think he best projects as a nickel. I think he could be a good boundary. I think he would be an elite nickel. But are we valuing, as a team that's entirely rebuilding right now in the Panthers, are we valuing a nickel corner over the prospect of having a maybe one day an A+ type of edge rusher? I think in terms of building blocks for the franchise, I think they're in a good position to go get this type of guy.
Yeah, because I mean, you already just paid J.C. Horn a ton of money, so you might as well
that's true.
Take the chance on a guy who has a high floor and his ceiling can be, crazy,
limitless. Yeah.
Plus, when's the last time you've seen a 10 RAS like pass rusher?
That is very true. I think, what was that, Jadeveon Clowney? 8 days, or was that? Am I just
Jadeveon? He would have been up there.
Throwing stuff in the wind?
You're in the right framework here. I think Trevon Walker was up there too.
Oh,
but,
he's a freak.
But yeah.
But he's been a flop since drafted.
All right, so Pierce, you're back on the board with the Indianapolis Colts here.
This was one thing that I forgot to bring up. They are in one of their biggest draft needs is tight end. Had Denver hadn't traded up with New York for Genty, I honestly could have seen Indianapolis possibly trading up with the Jets to take Warren since he was on the board there. But since that's already been made, I think they either go. They either draft Colston Loveland out of Michigan or Tyler Booker.
Ayush loves that pick, Colston Loveland.
I'm telling
you, or they take Tyler Booker, the guard out of Bama.
You're gonna take Booker?
Oh no, I'm
thinking about it.
Deciding, but it's one of those two. It's one of those two because they just lost one of their best offensive linemen to drawing a blank here. Literally just saw it.
They lost a couple of guys.
Lost a couple.
Yeah. Went to the Vikings.
Will
Freeze
to Minnesota.
Yes, that was the big one. You could easily just plug and play with Tyler Booker, or draft yourself another weapon for Richardson to at least throw to.
You don't worry about the combine numbers with Booker.
He sucked. That's what I was going to bring up, dude. It was bad.
If you're Indianapolis, you definitely do because that's Chris Ballard's whole MO.
Yeah.
That's true. There you go. He loves his athletes. I'll throw out there if you're looking at offensive linemen that are high-level athletes that maybe this is a little early for him, but Greg Zabel is an underrated name here. I don't remember how he performed at the combine, but he's an athlete.
I don't even think that's that early.
It is a little bit early, but I like it.
And you can also factor you could trade back and get him. But
that might be the right call for them. Move back.
And could the Cardinals try and jump the 49ers and get honestly anything, because the 49ers will just go best available probably, but the Cardinals could jump them and go get like a Jahad Campbell.
Well,
heck, dude, I could see the Cardinals getting Barron, man.
I mean, could the Bill? Let's have the Bills call again, and just try to make Barron move.
Bro, they're gonna get denied all the way down the board.
The Bills are desperate to get Jahad Barron.
Yes, seriously.
I hear you, but
we'll trade you Josh Allen.
Good Lord,
I mean, that secondary would be nice, especially that corner room.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be
Buffalo.
Taron Johnson.
I am desperate.
I honestly, if I'm Indiana, the biggest draft need you have is guard and tackle in a tight end. You don't have Tyler Warren anymore on the board. He's off the board, so I think they stay put and draft Colston Loveland.
I dig that. Yeah, I dig that.
Bills
All
cry
right,
again.
Loveland's the pick. Yeah,
That makes
exactly.
sense. That
All
makes
right,
a lot.
now they're picking the phone back up for the 49ers.
Another go.
I'm hanging up.
Yeah.
I'm hanging up. I'm hanging up. I'm taking Barron.
Yeah.
I thought I have had plenty of time to think about
I
this.
love that. Yeah, that's
unfortunate.
I'm taking Barron.
that's a great move.
Oh, Killer Banks
Alright.
Jr.
I've had that
I
a
wanna
couple
say-
times.
Oh,
I've had
hang
that a couple
on.
times at 11.
Oh yeah, you are the okay. I was gonna say, hang on, you're not the 49ers, but you got the pick
I
from
am the
Jackson. So you
49ers.
pick back to back now, actually.
Oh, I do. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. I
They
did
have a
not
lot of
get a
options
chance to
here
go
at
with the
16.
Cardinals pick at all. Yeah.
Because I think they would
Let me
love
look this
Jihad.
up.
They would love any of these edge rushers. They honestly Malachi Starks,
Let
offensive
me take a
lineman
look real
galore
quick.
here.
Okay. See, the thing is, okay, y'all base your scouting off watching tape. You take your time looking at these guys,
Oh, you
measuring their
can't bring
arms,
up the
measuring their
names.
feet. Yeah. The thing is the name. I also thought about it a little more. You got to think about how their name looks on the jersey too. You know, because you can look at like Jahdae Barron. The name Barron on a blue Buffalo Bills jersey does not look right. That's not going to work. The
That
Jahdae
is
Barron in a
something I
49ers
consider.
uniform,
That's very fair.
that is going to work. You see, you got to think about it. Like you can think about any
Oh,
player that's a bust. Let's think about
it's gonna be here, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm blanking on bust. Josh Rosen, I guess. Rosen does not look good on a Cardinals uniform. If Josh Rosen was drafted to the, let's think about this.
I don't think it looks good on any uniform.
I don't know. Maybe he's just a bust in
Yeah.
general. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, yeah. See, so that's a name that just wouldn't work anywhere, right? But you got to think about. So let me see. Let's see if I can put this theory to use on this Cardinals pick right here.
I feel like the name Ezra Rock.
I feel like
It also
one of
hurts when
these-
the. Yeah, exactly. Because you also got to think
These
about
are the best
teams with bad jerseys are also kind of bad too. But like you think about like Campbell on the back of a Cardinals jersey doesn't really feel right, you know? Like it doesn't really seem like it fits that well.
Reminds me too much of Campbell Soup, which is also red.
Yeah, exactly. Ezra Raku, I could see it. I could see Ezra Raku. Maybe the
about
red isn't
Walker?
quite right, but it's close enough.
Ezra Red.
What about who?
What about Jalen Walker? He's still on the board.
That's true.
Valid.
Walker fits
Oh
better than
yeah,
Campbell
I totally
does.
forgot Walker.
that
It's because
jersey.
he's listed as a linebacker on PFF. Walker's probably the best. I think Johnson Starks, Campbell, Ezra Raku, and then Walker are my top guys.
I'm liking the more I think of it, the more I like Walker on the back of that Cardinals uniform. They already got a Walker on their roster right now. They got Michael Walker too. So
Oh.
if we put the Michael Walkers, you put the Walker brothers together. They're not really brothers, but I think that spells good things. I'm gonna take Mark's advice. I'll take Jalen Walker here. Because I don't think the Cardinals have scouted at all either. So they're just gonna take the guy that they like, and then hopefully it works for him. Because that just seems like the vibes that the Cardinals give me at this point of their franchises.
They're just gonna print out a bunch of
Timeline.
jerseys with every other player's name on them and see which one looks the best.
Exactly. I feel that's the way most teams should do it. Like you think about like the Cowboys. The Cowboys have a very unique or iconic uniform. Like if you put like Luther Burden works in a Cowboys uniform. You put Burden 3 on the back of that jersey, that works. Mike Green, that doesn't work. You put Green on the back of that Cowboys jersey, that looks terrible. He's gonna be a bust if he's a Cowboy. So Mike Green also just doesn't have a good name, in my opinion. I feel like he's gonna be a bust just off name value, but that's just my opinion. I'm telling you,
Bro's
this is gonna work this draft.
So hard right now.
This is gonna work this draft, and then Dillon's not gonna know what to do with his tap tape formula. He's gonna have to like revamp the whole Google sheet to like analyze the name instead of like all the measurables that he has in the
tap,
system.
Taping.
Yeah,
Go to
exactly.
N at the
Add
end.
name.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm the Bengals. I think the Bengals are gonna be stupid here and pick Michael Williams. I don't like it. I wouldn't do it. I like Michael as a player. I think he's a good player, but he has an elite like build. He has one of the best like defensive end bodies that you'll see. the long arms, and he's a very grounded player too. So he can play through you. I think there's some room to do or room to work on with his overall pass rush plan, but I think the Bengals might just be like, okay, the potential, the ceiling here is very high. He has the build for it. We need a kind of 5-tech type of defense, pure defensive end, and that's what Michael will be for them. So even though me personally, I'd go. I think the best defensive end available right now is Ezraku. I really hope that he gets off the board here soon because he's deserving of at least a mid first round pick. But number 18 is Mark with the
All right, so if I'm Seattle, I'm kind of happy that a certain Texas wide receiver has fallen to me here, because they currently pretty much operate with only slot receivers with Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp. Although, I mean, Kupp has had success on the outside, but his best role is as a slot guy. So I'm going to go ahead and just run the card in for Matthew Golden. I think he fits perfectly as an outside guy for them. He does not drop the football, which is, pretty much the bare minimum you're looking for in a wide receiver. So I think he can help new quarterback Sam Darnold a lot. So, yeah, I think it's a good pick for them.
All right. Number 19 is Pierce with the Buccaneers.
I'm gonna put this in your head, Pierce. What would you think about trading with the 49ers again? Have the 49ers trade back into the first round? Or a 2 and a 3? Or both of their 2s? I don't know.
Or would you rather take 30 and the Bills back in, and we'll get Malachi Starks? 30 and the Bills third. I don't know.
I think it'd be more than that.
I'll give you 2 seconds.
All right, we'll go 30 in the second. Ayush is raising his offer. All right, we gotta compete.
I'll go both of the second.
I see.
Actually, mathematically, 30 and 62 would be perfect.
I see.
Yeah, okay, 30 and 62. That's what's on the table here for you, Pierce.
I see Tampa Bay staying put. Levante David's getting old, and I think they're going to look for their long-term replacement. I think they're going to take Jahad Campbell.
I like that pick a lot.
That's good. All right. I think I'm up, right, because of the Jets.
Yeah,
the Jets trade because I had 7. Yep. All right, so okay, there's one guy that kind of makes a lot of sense here. Oh, dude. Man, Kenneth Grant makes a lot of sense here, honestly.
I could
Put him
definitely
in the nose, pair him up with Quinnen Williams, make that interior. Honestly, that defensive line would be magnificent. Got Derek Nottie rotating in pretty consistently. Oh man, no. Dude, could you imagine a Will Johnson and Sauce Gardner duo?
That'd be
pretty nice.
Okay, we're doing that. We're doing that. I think Grant would be the responsible pick, but Will Johnson is the sexy pick here, and he's fallen this far already. I mean, I don't think the injury. I mean, the injury background with him is a little worrisome. I guess I don't think it's worth him dropping this far. The speed, I guess, is a little bit of a problem, but he's someone that with his size, he's able to stay hip to hip because of his size and length. So he's able to make up for it. So honestly, I don't give a crap. Pair him up with Sauce Gardner. You have possibly here in the next year or so, you have one of the best corner duos in the league. So do it. So the Steelers are on the board, which is who's that? That's Ayush.
It's Dart time.
Yeah, Dart, dude. I think Dart's the pick here.
I'm not doing it. I can't. They can get Dart in like the second or third round, bro.
No, it's Dart
And
time.
be happy with that.
Yeah, I don't know, bro.
The Vikings don't like
There's
JJ
no-
McCarthy. They might take him at 24.
I'm between Kenneth Grant and Omarion Hampton. That's the top two that I'm thinking right now. I feel like interior D line, I feel like you could get a young guy in there. I mean, they're kind of okay, like as a whole right now, but if they can get someone to potentially be the next guy up, I think they could be very happy with that. Omarion Hampton is also a guy that I think would work well. His name looks good on the back of the jersey. I mean, he was my top graded guy last year whenever we did those grades before this college season. I think, Jackson Dart, man. Like, why is Jackson Dart the highest percentage of the picks too? This is stupid.
For Pittsburgh,
This is
too.
literally
I
just
think they're
Kenny
only-
Pickett 2.0.
I think their only quarterback right now is Mason Rudolph. That's why.
Yeah.
That's true.
They can get their guy in the third, fourth. They can get Dillon Gabriel. They can get
Oh no,
Kyle
Dylan
McCord.
Gabriel's
Dog.
No, I'm telling you, this doesn't have to be the year to get the guy. This is not
Dog,
the
if
year
we
to get
draft
the
Dylan
guy.
Gabriel
The
and
problem is
Pittsburgh,
they just need a guy.
the Yinzers will riot if Dylan Gabriel is the projected starter.
Pittsburgh will be in fire.
I'm telling you, Jackson Dart is not the guy. You just first
This
of all,
is the
think
team
about the
that
name on the
drafted
back
Kenny
of the jersey.
Pickett one pick after this spot 2 years ago. I
And-
feel like
and
they
now,
do this.
I don't
So-
think they're going to make that same decision again. That's the
But
thing.
but you also got to know. Mike Tomlin's a big Senior Bowl guy. He loves Senior Bowl players. Jackson Dart was at the Senior Bowl. I saw them. I
did
personally saw them talking. So
I could see them going Dart
I
even
hate
if they
the
got
pick,
Aaron
man.
Rodgers.
Yeah.
I hate the pick.
I just
so
I
much.
don't love the pick. I don't like that pick at all for them. I would wait, but I think this my thought process is, since this is what would they do, I would think that they would make the irresponsible decision.
Yeah, I hate this pick personally, but it has Pittsburgh written all over
It
it.
does. Yeah.
I guess I'll. And this thing, it's like the same as drafting Brady Cook here, bro. It's the same. It's the same principle to me. But I guess I'll do it because we're doing it. We're going in their mind. So Jackson Dart is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, I guess. I hate it so much.
Jackson
It makes
Dart.
zero sense to me.
Let's go.
All right. 22 is me.
It's gonna be throwing darts.
The Los Angeles Chargers. And we already picked Loveland. We already picked Warren. Both of those guys are off the board. RB1 is Najee, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, come on,
Could this
Vidal
be a-
season.
Could this be a Hampton pick for?
I do
Harbaugh?
like Vidal, man. No kidding around. I do. He was so fun in college. He'll figure it out.
Dog, this is tough. Okay, so the defensive line could use a little bit of a revamp as well, considering Bosa just left. Collab Mock is getting way up there in age.
They desperately need receivers.
Mhm. 'Cause
I
Mike
don't
Williams
think
is
they
gonna
care.
blow
I
his knee out
really
again.
don't think they care about receivers right now.
Dylan, we haven't had a trade in a while.
They
What
picked Brad McConkey 36th last year. I think they might go early receiver here and just feel like checked box. Now Justin Herbert can't complain anymore.
We're doing Donovan as a rocker, dude. I don't care.
Oh, I was
I,
gonna.
dude, I love Donovan, man. And
He's gonna whine so much.
dude, you're explosive player with a immense pass rush bag, dude. It's different every single play. Very creative at the point of attack, block shedding. He can stack and shed. Good run defender. Very fantastic build for an edge rusher. Mental game is there. Yeah, I like Donovan Mesoraku. He's a top 15 guy on my board. He's one of my first round grades. I think that him and Khalil Mack will make a great duo, and he's going to go on and have a very productive career. I could see Mesoraku being one of those guys that, like kind of like Nick Benito this year, where you're like, whoa, why he just randomly became. I know he had a little bit of a build up there, but he just kind of threw himself onto the scene, and you see those numbers, and those numbers just snuck up on you, and you're like, whoa, he's the Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I could see Mesoraku kind of slowly building up, and then 2-3 years from now, being someone that just kind of like drops in on the scene, and you see him go for 14 plus sacks, and all of a sudden he's that type of guy. So I love this pick for them.
I was just about to offer you a trade from Detroit to trade up to get Ezeraku.
I don't care, bro. I hung up. I hung up, man. Okay, so the Green Bay Packers is
That's me.
Mark.
Okay, Mark.
Dude, Mark, dude, do some funny stuff here for
right
you.
now. Pick a Mecca Ibuka.
Nah, bro, we're drafting quarterbacks. Ayush was bringing up Dillon Gabriel. Let's do this. Do him a solid here. Get Dillon Gabriel.
I can't do it to him. And
Give him the one-fingered
Packers
salute.
in general here.
And getting drafted Dillon Gabriel.
Ayush, I know you're a big Packers guy. I need your expertise in terms of what you think they should target here. I have my idea, but I want to know who you would like personally.
The fact that Malachi Starks is this far down the draft, I don't understand.
Me
I get it.
personally,
They just don't need a safety in Green Bay. I can't see parts here.
Yeah,
He could,
It's
and
not
they just
like,
invested in that
he
position.
could play corner though. I mean, he was there. a lot.
He could be a high level nickel. He could be a high
I
level.
do love their
nickel.
Georgia guys too.
He's a
I
dog,
think-
dude.
But I don't.
Pierce
that good.
Jr. is also way down the board for them at this point, and I feel like would be a pick they might like. They were allegedly involved in calls for Myles Garrett when he was on the board. They want to upgrade there.
I think Ravel would be their top guy.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, Ravel. And you're getting an athlete. They love their Roz guys. You get an athlete. Obviously, he's coming off the injury, but I think if he was healthy enough to go perform at the combine, and I think he would score like a 9.5 plus raw score.
They're
so.
very bummed Shamar Stewart went really early. I will
I'm
say.
sure. Yeah,
That's my
Packers are also unafraid of like reaching for their guys too. So they're just gonna get what they need and get out of there. They're not gonna.
Yeah. Well, even I mean, if you pick Ravel, I don't think that's a reach too. I think that's right.
Yeah,
where he
that's just on
belongs.
the PFF board. It has it as a big reach. I don't think that's a
Oh, can I point something out here? It's not Siobhan Ravel. It's actually Savon Revel.
Savon Rebel. Okay.
Isn't that so weird?
Or isn't it even Savone? I think it might be
The H is
Savone.
silent? The what?
Savone?
What?
It actually might be. It actually might be.
Oh,
I know it's Revel.
Yo.
I know it's
Yeah.
Revel, and it's
definitely
like.
Revel.
I don't think there's a. It might be a Savone, but the
Savone.
the H is silent. The it's Revel. Dude.
Wow.
It's a sick name, I will say.
Yeah, no, dude, it is. Yeah, there are some killer names in this class, dude.
Yeah. I think I have my
I mean,
guy.
Burden's awesome.
Yeah. I
That's
think
a
I have
crazy
my
name.
guy, and I don't think it's going to be someone
Yeah, it's Savon.
you might be expecting.
Yeah. The way he pronounces his name, it's Savon Ravel.
Savon Rebel. There you go.
No, it's. I know it's Revel. I saw a video of him saying it, and it was Revel.
Yeah, it's Revel. Yeah, but it's Savon.
Yeah.
It's
Savon Rebel. Okay. I was gonna say Revel was new. I never heard Revel, but
All right. So I think this pick kind of encompasses all the things that we just mentioned about the Packers. You know, they're not afraid to reach for their guy a little bit. They like their high RAS guys, and it's going to fill a position of need for them. I'm going to go with Darian Porter from Iowa State.
boom! What a pick!
Yeah,
Wow,
that's a
Mark
Ross.
is
That's
so
a Ross
woke.
guy right there.
Mark is so woke. I love Porter, man.
I
That's-
just did a checkup on his RAS. It's a 9.99 unofficial.
Yeah.
So
Dang,
Yeah,
that is a
He just doesn't.
That's
He
all I
just
need to
doesn't
know.
have a ton of experience, and
You
I don't know
call
why,
him
because he didn't become a starter until this year. You know that he's like a senior. I think he might be a super senior. and he just became a starter this year. That's astounding to me.
His QBR allowed into his coverage was worse than if you just dirted it every single play, and I love that.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That is a no-fly zone, if you ask me. That's a
Like
no-fly
I feel
zone.
like that's a super Packers pick right there, Darian Porter.
Yeah, that's more. Yeah, I mean, Revel is in that same type of breath, but I think this is kind of this so far out of left field type of pick that they would make. So, okay, so moving on to 24, the Minnesota Vikings. Pierce is picking for them there. I think my pick for them in my mock drafts about 2 months ago was Armand Bamboo. So times have changed big time.
I could see them staying put and drafting an interior offensive lineman, but seeing, how bad, Booker tested in the combine. I mean,
Banks is still there too, man.
How the heck is he still there? I thought he went.
I think Banks is meant to be an interior guy too. He's built like an interior guy. He moves like an interior. And if you look, so I'm a real sicko. I look at I do shoulder length measurements. A broader shouldered guy on the offensive line is meant to be on the interior, in my opinion. And Banks has the widest shoulders of any player in this draft.
Yeah, seeing how Kelvin Banks, I wrote it down wrong. I forgot. I thought Kelvin Banks was already drafted at San Francisco. That's my fault. I just miswrote. I've got. I think they'll stay put and they'll take Kelvin Banks to be their next interior offensive lineman.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Oh, and I'm bummed.
And now the Texans are throwing a fit.
I know.
Hey, you have a dude though. You have a dude right there.
Yeah, I think
I'm a Ursery truther too, but I don't think they want to tackle. I think we'll go an interior guy, and that's what
I am also an Ursery truther. But Gray Zabel's the better value pick here.
Yeah.
So I think we'll go that way.
Yeah, and they brought in. Okay, hang on. Let me pull up their depth chart. So you have.
They brought in
Trent Brown.
Yes, that's
Trent Brown and Cam Robinson, and both of those guys are true tackles in my opinion. And I think right now they just need. I guess they are a team where they just want offensive linemen to just get bodies in there that are actually like decent, and you slot them in. So
yeah, I mean, biggest issue is protecting CJ Stroud. They bizarrely traded their franchise left tackle, so let's try to fix that.
Yeah, well, and you also got to point out here their problem and the kind of situation there with Tunsil that I heard was they didn't like the morale of that offensive line room, and they thought it was kind of down in the dumps, and they thought Tunsil was a major player into that. So one of the kind of influences of them trading him away was the fact that they didn't believe that he was a culture fit for that room. Gray Zabel is a culture type of guy from all the reports that I've been able to consume, and I actually sat next to his parents at the Senior Bowl, and I didn't talk to them or anything, but
that reminds me a lot.
They put out good vibes. So
something I was talking about earlier today, which is the Titans moving on from AJ Brown because they didn't feel like he was a great culture fit and didn't want to pay him.
Yeah.
Now
Tunsil's going to go win a Super Bowl with the Commanders, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Rams on the board here. Who has the Rams?
Yeah, that's me, I think, yeah.
Hey, this could – oh, no, and hang on. I was about to say Dart could go here, but Dart's gone. And I'm sure you would love that, Jackson.
This would be Les Snead would love to trade down.
Oh, wait, he's going to bring up the Bills now.
I don't know that it's the Bills that want it. I think the Bills could still come up with Malachi Starks at this point. I think Les Snead would do that. So I think, and the Bills wouldn't have to give up as much at this point. What would that trade look like from 30 to 26?
Oh, it wouldn't be that much. From 30 to 22.
Just throwing like a fourth.
26. Yeah, you're throwing a fourth and you're almost overpaying, actually. No, that's right about. I guess that's right about.
Yeah.
You're trying to close the gap on 80 points here.
Okay, so maybe even a fifth. Would a fifth get it done? What?
No, I think you need the fourth
Yeah,
because it's 660 to 700 if you throw in your fourth.
okay. Yeah, let's go to the fourth and call it good on the draft discount if Ayush wants to make that deal.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. 30 and what is it? 132.
Yeah, and that gets the Rams a little extra draft capital, and then they can go attack corner at 30, which is probably what.
Yeah, I'm completely cool with it.
All right, this is it. 109, 30, and 26. Did I hear that right?
Is it 109 or what? I'll take 109 if that's.
What's the value difference between 109 and
It's
132?
It's 40 and 76. Mathematically, you're still, even with 109 and 30, moving up to 26, you're still actually a little low. So
All
you're
right,
probably at a baseline doing 109.
it's all good.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that.
All right. So now Jackson's picking at 26 for the Bills.
And
He finally gets his wish.
Finally, they upgrade in their secondary, not in the way we originally intended, but they let both of their safeties go a couple of years ago, so they'll get a new one here.
All right. Now 27 is myself.
May I just say, this is just me being a fanboy and producer, and just I know he didn't produce. He played hurt. His pro day went well for what I've heard, for the people that I've heard from, the people at Texas and stuff. This a Baltimore pick here, I could definitely see them taking a Nick Scorton here and as a another edge to help with their defense.
I don't like Scorton, honestly. Me personally. There's a couple of guys here though. Give me a minute here. I'm not a big James
early
Pierce
for
guy.
Landon Jackson, but I do feel like he's a good fit with
That's what I think I'm gonna do here in a second.
Landon Jackson.
Man, Amika
I've seen
Igbokwe
Landon Jackson
far.
go early recently.
Dude,
27 isn't actually crazy early. I feel like Landon Jackson's really good value here.
I've had first round grade on Jackson for months.
For a long time felt like he fits in Baltimore.
Yeah. I mean, when you're looking at Baltimore, you're looking at the hair on fire type of guys, and you want a guy who can set an edge. That's kind of their prerequisites there. He can do that, and he kind of matches the Ray Lewis type of defenses, that kind of recklessness. He has that kind of recklessness on film if they're trying to recreate that type of system. So, and we were talking about this the other day in the Team Needs episode. It feels like for the first time, like ever, we're looking at the Ravens and we're like, you need offensive linemen and you need defensive linemen. How often is that? It feels like the Ravens always have those positions set up, especially on the defensive line. This defensive line is always ready to go with like kind of like what the Eagles are right now. There's always dudes there, and right now it's thinned out. So I'm gonna take the guy that honestly is the best available edge rusher in my opinion, and that's Landon Jackson. And I love that pick. And even though maybe it's probably not a fan favorite by like Ravens fans, I think that they're going to realize very quickly who he is and what he's all about. 28 is Mark.
I mean, I know just to add on to Landon Jackson, I know he caused plenty of problems. I mean, I think I'm repeating what I said, but like, I think this was also when we did our last mock draft. I think this is what we also had, Baltimore picking a guy that is just high motor, high intensity, because that's what you pick at Baltimore. Just recklessness. You said it, recklessness, collisions everywhere, And I know firsthand he caused a lot of Aggies to be very pissed off about just how dominant he was.
All right.
Lions
at 28. I feel like James Pierce is the popular pick here, but I don't think it's a character fit. I just don't. I know there's a lot of concerns about the mentals there, and Detroit's another team that's not afraid to get their guy, even if they have to reach a little bit. We saw it in 2023. I'm going to say they need another outside receiver who can help them along in the run game, and I'm going to go Alec Manor.
Oh, I thought you were going to go for Ibuka here.
Nah, they have their slot demon and Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's where I think Ibuka fits the best. I think Iomanor is an outside guy who can help them. The run blocking is especially really good.
Insane run blocking.
Yeah.
Insane run blocking.
And I just think that's something that Dan Campbell and company is really looking for.
If you're going to be a puppy stick, if you're going to piss like a puppy
I
stick,
could also see them going James Pierce Jr. And I understand he maybe isn't like the leader that you would expect of Detroit, but I also feel like Detroit knows they have their leaders in place already. Like they're not looking to build the culture; they have the culture. Like they just need guys to come in and be part of it in some way. I feel like James Pierce is not the bad guy in a lot of ways. He just isn't a leader. I feel like he could be a guy who comes in and fits into a culture. So I could see them going in that direction too.
I agree with you in terms of that they have the culture, but I really just don't think James Pierce is someone who can really adapt that. Because what I've heard and what's been rumored is that he's not like a head on the shoulders football guy, which I know can get taken out of proportion a lot of the time. But ultimately, I just feel like if there's a red flag on that and that they don't think he'll fit in what they already have, they'll look elsewhere.
It could be.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's also even beyond character. There's a criminal background there too. It's all minor stuff, but I think a multitude of arrests.
Just one arrest, right? Multitude. I don't know. Hang on. I don't even know if he got
charged with speeding, driving on a suspended license. He was detained, arrested by police after a traffic stop. So,
just
maybe
one.
It's just one. Yeah, it looks like just the one. But whenever you factor in the fact that whenever I personally view character, so there's the background and then there's the actual person, because sometimes they don't always match. Because if you look at Mike Green, for example, there is a little bit of background, and he's actually off the hook legally for it. Obviously that doesn't mean he didn't do something, but
I mean he's been accused like 4 times. Like he may be legally off the hook, but it's one of those things where like this has followed him everywhere he's been. That one I worry more about from a character perspective, because it's not one accusation with Mike Green. It's an accusation in high school. It's an accusation at Virginia Tech, and then it's an accusation at Marshall. It's a lot of.
If we're doing that though, then you got to bring up Abdul Carter in that same light, because
I hear you.
Across multiple time frames he has backgrounds. So I'm more concerned with the fact that James Pierce has a background and he is not someone that appears to be a decent person. Because even at least Mike Green, if you listen to him talk, listen to how he kind of conducts himself, he at least seems like a person that can bring something to the locker room. James Pierce, and this is the sucky thing about scouting from our perspective, because all of this is speculatory, right? Like these teams, if the Lions go and make this pick and they say, you know what, we're not getting Ellick, we're going to go get James Pierce. Dude, these teams have private investigators on staff. They have private investigators on staff to go do these backgrounds. So whatever they deem, to be fine with. But yeah, this is such an interesting topic though, because this is always something that gets kind of outed, because a lot of people are too much of tape truthers, and obviously, it's kind of like I said before, it's a lot of speculation from people in our type of seats. But there is really so much that goes into these evaluations, and James Pierce has got to get off the board here soon, right? I mean,
it could be with this next pick.
It could be to the Commander, who have gotten it done with a bunch of hired guns in the front seven. Let's go get a long-term piece.
Yeah. So Pierce.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a guy would deal with a guy with a lot of character issues. I feel like a guy like Dan Quinn as a head coach could definitely help a kid like that, like James Pierce. I'm sitting here looking at some of their needs. I mean, how are they looking in the interior in terms of D tackle and nose?
Uh,
Because I know
I think they
we've
moved
already
last year
discussed.
relatively early.
you got, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, the D tackle's great, dude. You got Daron
Yeah.
Payne, Ken
Okay.
Law, Jerzon Newton, who you invested
No,
second in
no.
last year, and you brought
Yeah.
in Eddie Gold. If you look at the edge room though, it's rough because you just
They're pretty
lost
thin.
11 sack
Yeah.
guy Dante Fowler. You have Durance Armstrong, Dietrich Wise. I think Frankie Louvu should. Me personally, I think they should figure out how to get Frankie Louvu on the edge a little bit more frequently. And Cleveland Farrell and Jacob Martin. Like, dude, this is a bad room. So they're going to be, regardless if it's not this pick, they're going to be getting one at defensive end early on.
They're I'm hearing that. I haven't really been able to dive all the way into that, but hearing that, it makes more sense. I think Dan Quinn takes the risk with just the attitude problem and hopes he can educate him in, being smart and not being an idiot. They're going to take James Pierce here. They
Gotcha.
need help on the edge. You got a lot of inexperienced guys, the guys that haven't produced as much. But yeah, James Pierce here goes at 29 to Washington.
Good pick. All right.
Okay.
So Rams, and I think this is Ayush, right? Because of the trade down.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
Yep. There's a couple things I'm thinking. I'm leaning corner here. Trying to choose. I'm between Maxwell. Is it Harrison?
Yeah.
And Azare Thomas.
Max is a better
once again-
athlete, nickel guy, in my opinion, but
Put Ben Morrison in your mind.
he likes Ben. I know
I
that.
could see Ben Morrison too.
The
Yeah,
hip pointer though is a problem,
I was also-
and he's had multiple surgeries on his hip.
Other than the medicals
thinking,
cleared
like,
at the combine, am I wrong on that?
I think teams are still nervous about it because even if they clear, it's 2 hip injuries at the most important part of your body for a corner. So,
Fair.
but I mean, someone could take a risk on it, and I think the Rams could be the type of team to do it. So, but there's also another guy that you can take a risk on, and Savon Revel is there. So, coming off an ACL, you guys need a boundary guy.
Rebel
right?
doesn't feel like a Ram.
That's fair.
I was also like, I feel like the Niners could trade back in the first round at some point in this too, just because I feel like they'd want a 5th-year option on someone.
No shot they trade with the Rams though, right?
I mean, I don't.
Division rival.
I mean, yeah, division. I don't think people really care anymore about trading like that. I mean, it depends on who they're going for, you know.
Yeah.
'cause-
Lesney does not have much of a history of trading with his divisional rivals. I will say that.
That makes sense. Because like you have older guys on the roster still for the Niners, like Trent Williams. I don't know if you want to get a 5th-year option for a tackle though. I don't know.
The
I think
other
that's a
option
sneaky
is
pick.
Josh Simmons. I'll put that in your brain. We need to upgrade at tackle. Yeah, you'd probably have to take a redshirt year on him, but that'd be fine.
I think because we traded.
I don't think you
down
need a
and got
rush shirt.
that-
Is he?
He's
going
fine.
to be healthy.
Yeah, he's already working out and whatnot. He actually I think last I heard he might do a personal pro day in the next couple weeks.
Really? I was thinking he might have been a slower timeline, but I could be wrong, and I would love to be wrong.
Yeah,
No, he was moving at the Ohio State Pro
he's
Day.
ahead of schedule.
Oh,
and It was
really?
a torn patellar tendon.
Hey, good for him.
So he might not be able to be there for OTAs and everything, but I think week 1 he should be fine. And I mean, in theory, you could sit him for a little bit. for a couple weeks, just let himself playing.
Yeah, I don't even know that he needs to be a day one starter for the Rams, but Rob Havenstein, the last St. Louis Ram, is getting old. And so they would eventually like to upgrade.
I think they're gonna go with Hairston right here, though. I'm gonna take Hairston here. I think
Off
they
the
go.
field
O-line.
concerns
I
with
like that.
Harrison.
I think they go O-line with
Maxwell Harrison.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like Harrison a lot. His 2023 tape was better than his 2024 tape, but you got ball skills. He's a much better tackler than what he put on tape in 2024. His ability as a run defender before in 2023 was great, but
As a Rams
I
fan,
personally think he's a nickel.
I'd be pretty upset with that one. I don't like players who finish on a poor note, and he's got off the field concerns as well. So that would be a little
That's
bit
fair.
sketchy on my end.
All right, we
Yeah,
got
the next
the
pick too, don't I?
Chiefs, so got to get a quarterback.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
think I'm gonna go Ursary here.
There you
I know
go.
Simmons is there too, but I think Ursary. I think
From
Fits
from KC too.
yeah, with the hometown hero.
I dig that. He was someone that actually started off as a top 10 player on my board. Slowly fell down the board, but his 2024 season was a little bit worse than his 2023 season on tape. He's strong player, but his feet are a little sloppy. A lot of kind of what you saw in Patrick Paul last year are integrated into Ursary just in a little bit of a less raw way. So, but I think he has top tier potential. Okay, so the Philadelphia Eagles here. I hate to say it, but
I think they can just.
there are freakishly good options for this team right now. And there's
Oh,
one that is staring at me in the face right now, and he goes by the name of Emeka Egbuka. That would be wild if they're able to close this. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna because you could get an edge rusher. Never mind. I don't like this room.
That's not what I had in mind. I was thinking Nicky Manwari would be screaming at you if you're Howie Roseman here.
Dude, can you
Kinda
imagine a
cramped.
trio of AJ Brown? Because this is the team that doesn't need to make the responsible picks here.
Yeah.
They can go get they can do whatever they want. And I know they lost a couple of guys, but dude, Emeka Egbuka, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith is a filthy trio. Perhaps one of the best trios of wide receivers we've seen in the past decade. So I think I'm gonna make it just because they stay true to their board. So I think that Emeka would be probably the best player on the board at this point. And yeah. So that is the mock.
All right.
There we go. A lot of trades, honestly. I was not expecting that. I thought we were gonna just throw a couple in there, but how many did we get? 1, 2, 3. Was that 4 or 5? So I like that because one thing that kind of sucks with mocks is it's hard to do these trades even when you're doing a solo mock. But when you do, you make it a lot more authentic because that's how these drafts go. You're going to get at least 4 or 5 trades in a regular draft day. So, but yeah, I think we did a good job on this. Honestly, I mean, there's a couple of surprises here. Obviously, I think Alec Manor was a kind of headliner here, but I like the thought process there, and I think that dude, Mark was getting all these freaking Darian Porter. Bro's trying to make headlines here.
Yeah.
I know it. You're trying to get clicks. I like it.
The
We're
picks
gonna
make
get
sense
clicks
though.
for
That's
sure.
the thing. It makes sense.
They do make sense. Exactly.
makes
They're not
sense.
like okay, you know what? I'll throw someone that's lower on the radar and just throw them in there for fun. I like it. So
Like Dillon Gabriel at 21. Yeah, like nobody, like not doing that.
we should.
I feel like it's better than Jackson Dart in my opinion.
Should have done. Honestly, we should have done at 23 though, for Ayush's sake. You guys like to develop your quarterback, so That dude's been developing for forever.
He probably would.
so-
It probably would be the Cowboys.
No.
No.
All right. I guess that's gonna wrap it up for us. Really loved doing this episode. I love doing mocks. Mocks are so fun. So especially when we get a big group of guys. And I pointed out before, one reason I was excited for the collab was because for one person doing it, that's one thing, but 5 people putting their heads together, that's a lot more authentic towards what the actual draft is, because there's 32 GMs trying to play chess against each other, trying to get the best players, fill the holes on their team. And I think this helps make this process a lot more interesting, because there are going to be surprises. There's going to be guys that slide. There's going to be guys that go earlier than expected. A lot of examples of that ingrained into this mock. So, but yeah, glad to have the full panel on today. And Jackson, love having you on as always. Yeah, so we're going to wrap it up on that note, and we will see you guys next week.